Imagine waking up in a world so gritty, so unforgiving, that the air itself feels like it's out to get you. The sound of yelling fills the space, chickens clucking, a baby crying somewhere, and the distant murmur of the city that never stops. But here's the catch, you're not waking up in a marble palace or a grand villa. Nope, you've just opened your eyes in a Roman insula, an ancient apartment building. It's cramped, it's filthy, and it's falling apart. Welcome to the real Roman Empire, the one that no emperor or poet ever talked about. The walls are stone, covered in mildew, and there's no window to let in the sun. Just a small hole in the wall letting in a draft, some smoke, and maybe the occasional pigeon. You're lying on a mattress stuffed with straw, itching from the lice. The blanket smells like wet wool and regret. And there's no furniture, no luxuries, just a few meagre possessions that you're lucky to have. Your only relief from the stifling heat and the choking stench is a tiny corner chamber pot, which you'll have to carry down those rickety stairs to empty into the street. And oh, don't forget, the walls are thin. You can hear everything. The fights, the prayers, the cry, the secrets. But this isn't a fairy tale. It's not some grand story about gladiators or emperors. This is the Roman Empire at its rawest. No golden crowns, no marble baths. Just you, your life, and a city that's falling apart at the seams. The real question is, how long before it all comes crashing down? You stumble out of your cramped room and make your way down the crooked stairs. Careful not to trip and break your neck. The stairwell reeks of mildew and old wine. Each step echoes in the silence, a constant reminder that no one in this building is truly safe. As you reach the bottom, the noise of the street hits you like a wave. The market is already alive with vendors shouting prices for figs and fish guts, beggars calling for scraps, and the distant bark of a centurion's orders. It's a cacophony of survival, each sound a reminder that life here doesn't care about your comfort, your dreams, or even your dignity. It just cares if you make it through the day. The air is thick with smoke from the baker's oven, mingling with the stench of the open latrine, and you know you'll have to navigate through it all. But you have no choice. This is your world now. You've learned to ignore the stench, to pretend the sweat running down your back is just the price of survival. It's all part of the grind. As you walk past the stalls, your stomach growls, but you know there's no point in stopping. The bread they're selling is sto, and the wine is watered down so much it's barely worth drinking. Yet, it's all you've got. You're just another face in the crowd, another poor soul scraping by in a city that's already forgotten how to care. The buildings around you loom like silent giants, their stone faces weathered and cracked, much like the people who live inside them. The city's heart still beats, but it's fading. You pass the public latrine, a hole-in-the-wall pit where strangers squat side by side, performing their most basic functions without an ounce of privacy. It's a cruel reminder that in Rome, dignity is a luxury for the wealthy, and you, my friend, are anything but that. The communal sponge on a stick, soaked in vinegar, hangs there in its infamous bucket, waiting for you to make the ultimate sacrifice, your own self-respect, for hygiene. The tools are basic, the work is back-breaking, but it's your job, it's all you've got, and the thought of being fired, starving, or worse, thrown into the street to fend for yourself, keeps you going, even as the sun beats down relentlessly. There's no room for weakness here, no space for self-pity. You keep your head down and your hands moving because that's the only way you'll make it to tomorrow. As the day drags on, you can't help but wonder how long you'll last. How long can anyone last in this broken world? The city is a machine, and you're just another cog in it. There's no grand destiny for you here. No glory, just survival. And you know what they say about survival eventually. It wears you down until there's nothing left of you but the fight. And even then, sometimes that isn't enough. The day stretches on, each hour more grueling than the last. Your back aches from lifting heavy stones. Your hands raw from the rough edges of bricks and mortar. The sun beats down on you, relentless, as sweat drips into your eyes. But you can't stop. You can't afford to stop. The overseer watches, his beady eyes scanning for the smallest mistake, ready to punish any sign of weakness. If you're not working, you're a liability. And in this city, liabilities are discarded with the same efficiency as broken tools. The air is thick with dust, the streets swirling with a choking haze of heat and debris. You step carefully around a pile of waste, the stench almost unbearable. But you've learned to ignore it. You've learned to ignore the filth that coats every inch of your existence, the hunger gnawing at your stomach, and the constant exhaustion that weighs down your limbs. You've learned to keep moving, because if you stop even for a moment, the world around you might collapse. The weight of Rome, of its history, its politics, its endless grind, all presses on your shoulders, and you're not sure how much longer you can carry it. And yet, somehow, you do. Every step you take through these streets, every piece of work you finish is a small victory. You don't know how much longer you'll survive in this city, but you've learned one thing: survival is the only thing that matters. The empire may be crumbling, the roads may be cracked, the aqueducts may be leaking, but you're still here, still breathing, still fighting to stay alive. And that in itself feels like a kind of victory. As the sun begins to dip behind the crumbling walls of the insula, you make your way home. The streets are no less dangerous at night, and in many ways the dangers feel more immediate. Thieves lurk in the shadows, waiting for the unwary, the drunk, the foolish. You keep your head down, clutching your meagre possessions close to your chest, and move quickly through the alleys, trying to avoid the worst of it. But the city has a way of creeping up on you, of drawing you into its darkness, and you can feel it closing in. You finally reach your insula, the one place in this city that feels like home, though it's hard to call it that. Home is a place of comfort, of warmth, of safety, and this is just a shelter, a place where you can rest for a few hours before the cycle begins again. You climb the crooked stairs, each one creaking under your weight, and step into your tiny room. It's cold, damp, and the smell of mildew is overwhelming, but it's yours. You lie down on the straw mattress, your body sore from the day's work, and close your eyes. For a moment, you allow yourself to feel the weight of it all, the exhaustion, the hunger, the fear. You let it wash over you, and for a split second, it feels like you might break under the pressure. But then you remember something. You remember that you've been through worse. You remember the days when you didn't know how you'd make it through the next hour, let alone the next day. And yet, here you are, still breathing, still fighting. You take a deep breath, pushing the thoughts of failure and despair to the back of your mind. You've made it this far. You'll make it tomorrow. You have to. Because if you don't, if you give up now, then the empire wins. The empire that has been crumbling for centuries, that's slowly grinding the life out of everything in its path, will have taken another victim. And you're not ready to be that victim. Not yet. The room grows colder as the night deepens, and the sounds of the city fade into the background, replaced by the distant hum of the market and the low murmur of the crowds. You pull the damp wool blanket over you, though it does little to warm you, and close your eyes. Sleep is a luxury you haven't had in ages, and as you drift off into fitful rest, the world outside continues to turn indifferent to your struggle. The streets are a battlefield, but you aren't wielding a sword, you're carrying the weight of survival. With each step, the noise grows louder, the danger's closer, but you keep moving. The city might be crumbling, but you can't afford to crumble with it. You make your way to the work site, a construction zone littered with half-finished roads, crumbling aqueducts, and the smell of sweat and desperation. The foreman yells at you to get to work, his face stern, his voice cold. If you're late, you'll lose your pay for the day, maybe more. Tomorrow you'll wake up again, and the cycle will repeat, the work, the grime, the noise, but maybe, just maybe, tomorrow you'll find something that makes it all worth it. Maybe tomorrow. You'll find the strength to fight another day in a city that has long since forgotten what it means to care. As you close your eyes and you wonder how long you can hold on, how long before the weight of this city, this empire, crushes you completely. But for tonight, at least, you've survived, and for now, that's enough. As the first light of morning creeps through the tiny hole in your room's stone wall, you wake with a start. It's not the fresh, hopeful glow of dawn that stirs you, it's the sharp, unrelenting feeling of another day ahead. The air is still thick with the smell of mildew, the room colder now than it was last night. The sounds of the city drift up through the walls, the distant clamour of vendors shouting their wares, the rough voices of men shouting at each other, probably over something trivial. It's all just noise now. The city's hum, its heartbeat, a constant reminder of what life has become here. You sit up slowly, your body protesting the movement, and you can already feel the ache setting in. Your arms are sore from yesterday's work, and your back feels like it might snap if you stretch the wrong way. You don't have the luxury of resting, though. Not when the city is already awake, already grinding. You throw the thin blanket off, the cold air biting at your skin, and stand, your bare feet hitting the cold stone floor. You can hear the footsteps of your neighbours upstairs, the scuffling of someone moving around their tiny space. You head toward the small corner where your chamber pot waits, its contents cold and uninviting. The thought of emptying it makes your stomach churn. But you've done it 1,000 times before. You take a deep breath and brace yourself for the indignity of it, because there's nothing else to do but get through it. There's no other way. The city demands you keep moving. It doesn't care about your comfort, your pride, or your dignity. It only cares that you're still here, still able to work, still able to survive. The task done, you wrap your tunic tighter around you to ward off the chill and step out of your room. The air outside is no better than the air inside, stale, thick, full of the smells of the city's decay. You make your way down the stairs, careful to avoid slipping on the rickety steps, the wood creaking underfoot. The building groans with age, like a beast barely able to hold itself together, but it does, just like you. As you step into the street, the noise hits you like a slap in the face. The market is already in full swing, with the usual chaos. Vendors shout their prices for bread, figs, and fish, while children run through the narrow gaps between stalls, playing and dodging carts. The stench of burning meat, fish, and sweat fills the air, mixing with the faint, sickly smell of human waste that seems to permeate every part of the city. You ignore it. You have no choice. The streets are crowded, but they're not filled with the vibrancy you might expect. There's no energy in the hustle and bustle, or no excitement or joy, or it's all just a blur of survival. The people here, like you, are just trying to make it through the day without falling through the cracks. You pass a beggar sitting in the corner, his hand stretched out toward you, and you instinctively glance away. You've learned not to make eye contact, not to acknowledge the suffering around you. It's easier that way. You move toward the work site, each step taking you deeper into the belly of the city. The sounds of the market fade into the background as the din of construction takes over. You're a labourer, just like the hundreds of others who fill the streets, working from sunup to sundown for a handful of coins. The foreman greets you with a grunt and a wave, already barking orders at the other workers. You don't bother to speak, you don't need to. Your work is all that matters here. The day drags on, the hours blending together in a haze of dust, sweat, and back-breaking labour. The sun is high now, beating down on your exposed skin, making every movement feel like an effort. Your fingers are raw from handling the rough stones, your legs ache from the constant squatting, and your mouth is dry from the dust in the air. You're thirsty, but there's no time for breaks, not unless you want to fall behind, and falling behind here means being left behind. You try to focus, but the heat is oppressive, and the weight of the city's grime seems to seep into your very bones. You don't know how much longer you can endure this, but you don't have a choice. There's no other way out. You keep working, the sound of the hammer striking stone almost hypnotic in its rhythm, drowning out everything else. The hours drag on. You've lost track of the time, your body too weary to care. The only thing you're focused on now is the work, each strike of the hammer, each piece of stone that falls into place. But even this doesn't bring you relief. The city around you is dying. You can feel it in the air, in the cracked walls and crumbling streets, and you can't help but wonder how much longer it will be before it takes you too. As the sun begins to set, the workday finally comes to an end. You're exhausted, every muscle in your body aching, but there's no time to rest. The city never sleeps, and neither can you. You make your way back to the insula, weaving through the streets, avoiding the crowds and the dangers that lurk around every corner. The evening air is cooler now, but the smell of the city hasn't changed. It never does. You return to your room, the familiar chill of the stone walls greeting you. It's not much, but it's yours, for now. It's all you have. You lie down, but sleep doesn't come easily. Your body aches, your mind races with thoughts of the day ahead. You wonder, not for the first time, how long you can keep this up. How long before the city finally takes everything from you, just like it has taken everything from so many before you. But for now, you rest. For now, you survive, and tomorrow, you'll wake up and do it all over again. The faint light of dawn filters through the cracks in your walls once again. It's not the bright, optimistic light of a new day, but the cold, grey light of survival. The sound of the city waking fills the air, the chatter of vendors setting up their stalls, the clattering of carts rolling over cobblestones, and the faint murmur of people trying to scrape together a living. Another day in the Roman Empire, another fight to stay alive. You rise from your straw mattress, the familiar ache in your joints reminding you that life here doesn't get any easier. Your body is sore from yesterday's work, your fingers stiff and cracked from the rough handling of stone and brick. But there's no time to waste on complaints, no time to rest. The city doesn't wait for anyone. You push yourself up, your feet touching the cold stone floor, and make your way to the corner where your chamber pot waits. Emptying it is a grim, necessary task, one that you've grown numb to. It's part of the daily grind, the part of life here that doesn't care about your dignity. You finish the task quickly, not allowing yourself time to dwell on the discomfort, and head down the crooked, rickety stairs to the street below. As you step outside, the noise of the city swells around you, the relentless clamour of people living and dying in the same breath. The streets are packed with the usual crowd, beggars, vendors, children running wild, and merchants shouting their wares. It's the same chaos, day in and day out. But it's a chaos you've come to know too well. It's what keeps this place alive, even as it falls apart around you. You make your way through the crowd, trying to avoid the worst of it, trying not to look too closely at the beggars sitting on the streets, or the thieves lurking in the shadows. They're all just trying to survive, just like you. You can't blame them for doing whatever they can to get by. But you also can't afford to get caught in their web. Survival here is about looking out for number one, yourself. The day drags on as it always does. The heat from the sun beats down on you as you work, the dust and grime settling into your skin and clothes. You feel like you're suffocating under the weight of it all, but there's no escape, not really. The city is too big, too all-encompassing. It doesn't care about your dreams or your pain, it just keeps moving, keeps grinding, and you have no choice but to keep up with it. The work is grueling, and the foreman doesn't let up. He barks orders at you and the other workers, his eyes cold and judgmental. You've learned not to show weakness, not to let the exhaustion and the ache in your body show. You keep your head down, your movements quick and efficient, because here, in the heart of the Empire, you're nothing more than a cog in the machine. And if you stop, if you falter, you're done. Lunchtime comes, but there's no real meal to look forward to. You eat a piece of stale bread, washed down with watered-down wine, the same as yesterday, the same as the day before. The bread is hard, the wine is weak, but it's all you can afford. The vendors don't offer much more, and even if they did, you wouldn't have the coins to pay for it. The streets are crowded with people just like you, tired, hungry, and doing whatever they can to make it through another day. The market is filled with noise, the cries of vendors selling their goods, the chatter of people haggling over prices. It's a noise you've grown used to, but it doesn't bring any comfort. It's just more sound in a city that's always too loud, always too full of people who have nothing left but the fight to survive. You finish your lunch and head back to the worksite, the weight of the day pressing down on you. The sun is high in the sky now, and the heat is unbearable. Sweat pours down your back as you work, the dust settling on your skin like a second layer of grime. Your clothes stick to your skin, your body sore from the constant movement, the constant labour. But you can't stop, not when you know that one slip-up could mean losing everything. The hours stretch on, the work never seeming to end. You feel like you're stuck in a cycle, repeating the same motions over and over, day after day. The world outside the worksite might change, but here, in this little corner of the Empire, everything stays the same. The sweat, the dirt, the aches in your bones, they're always there, always reminding you that this is your life now. When the workday finally ends, you make your way back to your insula, your body aching with the strain of the day's labour. The streets are quieter now, but still dangerous. You pass a few thieves who eye you warily, but you keep your head down, not making eye contact. The city is dark now, the once bustling streets growing emptier as people retreat to their homes, to their tiny rooms, to the places where they'll try to sleep through another night of the city's noise. You climb the rickety stairs to your room, the building creaking beneath you with every step. The walls are cold, the air stale, but it's home, if you can call it that. You lie down on the straw mattress, your body sore and your mind racing with thoughts of what the next day will bring. You don't know how much longer you can keep this up, but for now, it's all you have. Tomorrow, the cycle will start again. Another day in the city, another day to survive, the next day. As the sun barely creeps above the horizon, you wake to the same suffocating air and the same relentless noise of the city. The sounds are already familiar, the murmur of the marketplace, the clattering of carts, the faint cries from children playing, or perhaps fighting in the streets. The day starts the same way it always does. Your body, sore from yesterday's toil, protests as you force yourself out of bed, your feet cold against the stone floor. The small hole in the wall, your only source of air, lets in the faintest glimmer of light, but it does nothing to warm the room. You sit up, rubbing your eyes, trying to shake off the weariness that clings to you like a second skin. You wonder, briefly, if this is how it's going to be forever. Waking up to the same grim reality, never escaping this suffocating city, this grinding, unrelenting machine. But there's no time for wondering. You stand grimacing as you feel the weight of another day pressing down on you already. The chamber pot waits for you again, as it always does, and you do your best to get it over with quickly. The less you think about it, the easier it is to deal with. Once done, you climb down the stairs, the wood creaking beneath your weight, your feet slipping slightly on the narrow steps. You breathe in deeply, but it doesn't help. The stench of the city is everywhere. The trash, the human sweat, the mixture of old fish and smoke fills the air. Your stomach growls, reminding you that breakfast is still a long way off, and lunch, well, you can't even think about lunch yet. You step into the street, and the usual chaos greets you. The vendors are already shouting, hawking their wares, the cries of the beggars filling the spaces between the noise. You push through the crowd, not daring to make eye contact with anyone, not slowing down. You've learnt the hard way that stopping makes you a target, and you don't have the time or energy for that. Your legs ache as you make your way to the worksite. You pass the public latrine on the way, a reminder of how little privacy you have in this city. The stench, the sight, the communal aspect of it all. Nothing is sacred here. Nothing is private. You don't linger. There's no time for that. The work site, once you reach it, is a blur of noise, sweat, and endless tasks. The foreman barks orders at you, his voice cutting through the already oppressive air. You grab your tools and get to work without a word. The stones are heavy, the mortar rough, and the work is endless. The sun climbs higher, and the sweat begins to pour down your back. But you push through, you've always pushed through. Hours pass in what feels like mere moments. The work, while monotonous, gives you a sense of purpose, something to focus on other than the suffocating weight of the city itself. If you stop thinking, if you stop feeling, you can get through it. But even that is exhausting. You begin to feel the strain of it, the ache in your muscles, the burning in your hands. Still, you keep going. You've learnt that survival means pushing through everything. By midday, the heat is unbearable. The stone walls of the city radiate heat, and the air feels thick, like you're breathing in the very dust of the empire itself. Your stomach growls again, but you ignore it. You've had worse meals. You've gone hungrier. The work is endless, but there's no choice. The empire needs roads, aqueducts, temples, and baths, and you're the one who's here to build them. Lunchtime finally comes, but it's not a reprieve. The bread is stale, the wine watered down. It's a small comfort, but it's enough to keep you going for now. You don't stop long, there's no time for real rest. The vendors are still shouting, the beggars still pleading, and the market is still alive with the same unrelenting energy. You swallow your food quickly, your throat dry from the dust, and head back to the worksite. The afternoon drags on, and the exhaustion begins to seep in. The sun is low now, casting long shadows on the cobblestones, but the heat hasn't let up. Your body aches with the strain of the work, your hands blistered from the rough tools, your muscles sore from the constant labour. But there's no time for complaining, there's no room for weakness. You work until the sun dips below the horizon, and only then does the foreman finally give the order to stop. You make your way back to your insula. The street's a little quieter now, the city's noise fading into the background. It's not peace, but it's a break. The work is done for the day. You climb back up the narrow stairs to your room, the building creaking beneath you, and slip inside. The familiar chill of the stone walls greets you, and you collapse onto your mattress, too tired to care about the damp, the lice, or the smell. Your thoughts race as you lie there in the dark, the sounds of the city still faintly echoing in the background. How much longer can you keep doing this? How much longer can anyone? But you don't have the answers, and there's no time to search for them. Tomorrow, the cycle will start again, and you'll have no choice but to keep moving, to keep surviving. The hours stretch thin as night settles over the city, but sleep doesn't come easy. You lie in your straw-filled bed, your body aching, your mind still racing. The sounds of the insula are louder now, the creaks and groans of the ancient building punctuating the stillness. You turn restlessly on the mattress, trying to get comfortable, but the weight of the day lingers in your bones. You close your eyes, but all you can see is the face of the foreman, barking orders, the sweat dripping down your face to the rough stone in your hands. The the stench of the city thick in your nostrils. How long has it been since you truly rested? How long since you felt anything other than exhaustion? The thought slips through your mind and then fades, swept away by the grim reality of survival. You toss and turn, the sounds of the city outside seeping into your thoughts, and then the inevitable happens. You drift off, but it's never deep, never restful. Sleep in this city is more like a brief surrender, a momentary pause before the grind starts all over again. In the morning, the same routine welcomes you back. The cold stone floor, the dank air, the faint light peeking through the cracks of the walls. You blink awake, the heaviness of the night still clinging to you. But there's no time for lingering, not in this city, not when survival is at stake. The same aching body greets you as you drag yourself from the bin. The chamber pot is where it always is, but it's still a task you'd rather avoid. You get it over with quickly. The act almost mechanical now, another part of your daily struggle. The stink of the insula fills your nose as you make your way down the stairs again. Careful not to trip. The air outside is already thick with the usual fumes of the market, the mix of food, sweat, and burning refuse. The noise hits you like a wave, but you move through it, one step at a time, each footfall a reminder that the world won't stop, no matter how tired you are. You've learned to block it out, the constant noise, the chaos, the rough hands of life. You make your way through the narrow streets, the vendors still shouting, the market still alive with energy. You're no longer fazed by the crowds or the clamour. It's all part of the backdrop now, a relentless hum that defines the rhythm of your life. The work site waits for you. The foreman doesn't greet you with anything but a grunt, and you don't expect anything more. He's here to make sure you work, not to coddle you. You pick up your tools and get to it, the same grueling labour, the same aches in your muscles, the same sweat pouring down your face. It's like your body is moving on its own. The work a routine that has become as natural as breathing, even if it feels like you're suffocating beneath it. Every stroke of the hammer, every piece of stone you carry, every step you take on this endless grind reminds you that this is your life now. The idea of escape doesn't even occur to you anymore. You're not even sure what escape would look like. There's no future here, not really, just today, and maybe tomorrow, and you'll keep going, because what else is there to do? The lunch break offers little relief, a small piece of bread, a sip of watered-down wine, and then it is back to work. The city doesn't stop, the noise doesn't stop, and the sweat doesn't stop. You wish for a moment of stillness, but even that's fleeting. As the day stretches on, you feel the weight of the sun, the heat pressing down on your back and your body aching from the relentless toil. You push through, ignoring the discomfort, the hunger gnawing at you, the sweat stinging your eyes. It's all part of the game, and in this city, the only way to win is to keep playing, no matter how tired you are, no matter how much it hurts. Finally, the workday ends, and you make your way back to the insula. The streets are a little quieter now, but the dangers haven't lessened. You pass the beggars again, the thieves lurking in the shadows, the same rough faces you've learned to ignore. You keep moving, your feet dragging with exhaustion, but you don't stop, not yet, not when the day's work is done, and there's still the night to survive. You climb the stairs back to your room, the weight of the day settling deeper into your bones. The building creaks around you, the familiar sounds of the insula marking the end of another day. You lie back on the mattress, the same straw poking through the thin fabric. The night presses in, but it's just another part of the cycle. Tomorrow, you'll wake up and do it all over again. The night drags on, a quiet but oppressive blanket, stifling any chance for rest. The city's pulse, though softer now, doesn't let you sleep. Even in the relative silence of your insula, the sounds of the outside world invade. Drunken laughter, the clatter of carts, muffled shouting from the taverns. The air is still thick with the humidity of the day, and your body aches with exhaustion. Every movement sends sharp waves of pain, every muscle protesting as if it has become a battleground between you and the weight of the empire that never lets up. You lie there, staring at the ceiling, your mind racing. How long can you go on like this? You've watched others, the ones who've been here longer than you, grow thin, grow frail, with their bodies breaking down just as their wills start to fade. It's inevitable, isn't it? Everyone wears down in the end. Your thoughts drift like the city's refuse through the gutters, but you shake them off and push them to the back of your mind. Tomorrow's work will be as brutal as today's. The same tasks, the same grim faces, the same grinding expectations, and in between, the same silence, the same loneliness. The only difference is that you know what to expect. It's a cruel kind of comfort, this familiarity with hardship. At least the devil you know is predictable. Eventually sleep finds you, but it's fitful and brief. You wake to the shrill sound of the street outside. It's the same as it was yesterday. The cries of the vendors, the clatter of carts, and the distant hum of life unfolding with no regard for your existence. Your eyes open, but the morning light offers no warmth, just a cold reminder of what awaits you today. The mattress feels harder this morning, colder, as if it's conspired against you to make the day even worse. You drag yourself up. The stiffness in your joints a reminder that every day here is a battle. You don't bother to look at the sky outside the window. The sun is up, and it will burn just as it did yesterday. Instead, you move to the corner of your room where your chamber pot sits. It's part of the routine now, just another thing you do because you have no choice. Once you've emptied it, you head down the stairs, your feet barely making any noise as you move through the building. You've gotten used to the creaks of the stairs, the groaning of the building as if it's alive, slowly collapsing under its own weight. It's a feeling you know all too well, how it's not just the city that's decaying, but everything in it. You, the buildings, the streets. It all gets worn down until there's nothing left but the grinding noise of survival. The air outside is no better than it was yesterday. The same smell of burning refuse and unwashed bodies, the same noise, the same chaos. It's as if the world is stuck in a loop and you're trapped in it day after day. You move through the crowds without thinking, just another face among thousands. You make your way to the work site, and the foreman is already barking orders at the others. The same gruff voice, the same demand for more work, more speed, more effort. You pick up your tools, the rough edges of the stones biting into your hands, and get to work. The stone is heavy, the mortar sticky, and the sun is already beginning its relentless climb in the sky. Sweat pours down your back, but it doesn't matter. No one cares that you're tired. No one cares that your body is sore from yesterday's labour. The hours drag on. Your muscles scream for relief, but there's none to be found. The work is endless, but at least you know it's the only thing that matters. No one asks if you're okay. No one cares. The task is simple. You work, you survive, and you don't stop. And so you don't. Lunchtime comes. It's the same every day. Stale bread, watered down wine, and the briefest of moments where you can rest before the grind starts up again. You eat quickly, the taste of the bread like chewing through rocks, the wine thin and unrefreshing. But it's enough. It has to be. The work resumes, and the sun reaches its highest point in the sky. The heat feels unbearable now. The sweat clings to your skin, and your body feels like it's going to crumble under the strain. You feel every ache, every bruise from the previous days building on top of one another. And yet, you keep going. There's no other choice. The city doesn't stop, and neither can you. If you do, you'll be left behind. Hours pass, and the work finally slows. The foreman's voice becomes more distant, more indistinct, as you lose yourself in the rhythm of the labour. There's something oddly soothing about it. The hammer hitting stone, the sweat dripping down your face, the world blurring into a haze of dust, heat and motion. It's as if, in these moments, the world outside doesn't exist. There's no empire, no decay, no suffering, just the work. Finally, the day comes to an end, and you head back to the insula. The streets are quieter now, the noise of the market starting to fade. You pass the same faces, the same beggars, the same thieves. You don't look at them anymore. There's no point. You've become part of the city's fabric, just another shadow moving through it. The insula is still the same when you return, cold, darkened and damp. You climb the stairs, and each step creaking under your weight. Your body aches, your mind is numb, but it doesn't matter. You've survived another day. You collapse onto your mattress, the straw poking at you, the roughness of it digging into your skin. Your eyes close, and you finally slip into a restless sleep. The sounds of the city outside still echoing in your head. Tomorrow the cycle will begin again, the work, the noise, the struggle. You'll wake up and do it all over again, and maybe one day you'll break. Maybe one day the weight of it all will finally crush you, but for now, you survive, and for now, that's enough. The night stretches on, deep and heavy with the weight of the day's fatigue, yet sleep never truly comes. You toss and turn, restless and unable to escape the rhythmic hum of the city that seeps into your very bones. The walls of your insula groan under the pressure of another day, another layer of grime and decay settling deeper into the stone. The sounds of the city are still alive even as night falls. Distant chatter, the occasional shout, the ever-present bustle of a place that never truly rests. Somewhere, a dog barks, another is howling, perhaps wounded, or maybe just lost in the dark, like you. But your body has learned to filter out the noise. It has learned to survive the constant din of Roman life. Even the weariness in your muscles seems to fade into a dull throb as you stare up at the ceiling. Your mind lost in a place between sleep and wakefulness. The long hours of hard labour have become a part of you, just like the dirt and sweat that cling to your skin. You wonder sometimes, when will it stop? When will this relentless grind finally break you? But it never does. The light begins to creep in through the cracks in the walls again, thin and weak, as you drag yourself into another day. The coldness of the room wraps around you as you sit up. Your legs numb from lying in the same position too long. The faint sound of the city beyond your walls filters in, chickens clucking, the murmur of voices, the rhythmic clattering of carts as they make their way through the narrow streets. You push yourself up, already feeling the familiar ache in your body, a reflection of yesterday's labour. Your feet hit the cold stone floor, and you brace yourself for the task ahead. The same rituals, the same motions, the same unbearable weight. You move toward the corner where your chamber pot sits, its contents cold and unsavoury, but necessary. There's no getting around it. It's just another part of the city's endless demands. Another reminder that this place doesn't care about you. It doesn't care how tired you are, how sore your body feels, or how much you yearn for a moment of peace. The city moves on, indifferent, uncaring, and so you do the same? You empty the pot, and with it, the remnants of yesterday's burdens. The stairs creak beneath your feet as you make your way down. The familiar sounds of the building, the groans of the floorboards, are as much a part of your daily life as the dust that coats your skin. The air outside is no better than it was yesterday. Thick, heavy, carrying the scent of burning refuse and unwashed bodies. You step out into the street, trying to ignore the feeling of oppression that lingers in the air, pressing down on you from all sides. The market is already alive with activity, the vendors shouting their wares, the haggling, the noise. You move through the crowd, head down, trying not to notice the beggars sitting along the sides of the road, their eyes empty and desperate. It's the same every day. The same city, the same cycle, the same grind, but there's no way out. Not for you, not for anyone. The streets are a labyrinth of misery, and you're just another rat trying to make it through another day. You head toward the work site, the familiar noise of the construction site greeting you. The foreman stands there, barking orders at the others, his voice as harsh and commanding as ever. You don't speak, not unless spoken to. There's no need for pleasantries here. The work is what matters, and you'll do it, just like you always do. You pick up your tools, the weight of the hammer in your hands and the rough stone beneath your feet, and you get to work. The hours blur together. The heat from the sun beats down on you, the sweat pouring from your body as the day wears on. It's relentless. There's no escape, no respite. You've learned to ignore the pain, the exhaustion. Your body moves on its own now, driven by the knowledge that the work never ends. The sun climbs higher, the heat more unbearable. But you don't stop, you can't. If you do, you'll fall behind. And falling behind here means being left behind. The foreman doesn't care if you're tired. He doesn't care if your hands are blistered or your back is sore. He doesn't care if your mind is numb from the constant labour. The city needs work, and you're the one who's here to do it. So you keep moving, one foot in front of the other, hammering stone, lifting bricks, doing whatever needs to be done to keep up. By midday, the work is starting to wear you down. Your stomach growls in protest, but then there's no time to think about food. You can't afford to take a break, not when there's so much left to do. The air is thick with dust, and your clothes stick to your skin, damp with sweat. But it doesn't matter. There's no point in complaining. No one is listening. No one cares. Lunchtime comes, but it's little more than a break to catch your breath. The bread is hard, stale, and the watered down wine does little to quench your thirst. You eat quickly, shoving the food into your mouth as if the faster you eat, the sooner the hunger will disappear. The market continues to hum around you, the noise of the city still relentless. You finish your meal in silence, barely tasting it, and head back to the worksite. The rest of the afternoon passes in a blur of movement and exhaustion. Your body feels like it's moving on autopilot, the work a familiar rhythm that requires no thought. The sun beats down on you, but you don't notice it anymore. The sweat stings your eyes, but you wipe it away. Keep going. The city doesn't care that you're tired, that you're aching, that you're longing for something, anything, to break the monotony. Finally, the workday ends, and you make your way back to the insula. The streets are quieter now, the noise of the market fading into the distance, but the dangers of the city never truly fade. You pass the same beggars, the same thieves, and the same faces you've seen for as long as you can remember. But you don't look at them. You don't make eye contact. You've learned that it's better that way. You climb the stairs back to your room, the familiar creaks of the building greeting you. Your body aches, your mind is numb, but you've survived another day. The mattress is as hard as ever, the straw poking through the fabric, but it's enough. For tonight, it will have to be enough. You close your eyes, but sleep doesn't come easily. Tomorrow it will start again, the same work, the same city, the same grind, and you'll keep moving because what else is there to do? The darkness of the room seems to press in on you as you lie awake, staring at the ceiling. The weight of another day looms in your mind, and despite the fatigue, sleep doesn't offer you the escape you desperately need. The city outside, still echoing with life, feels closer somehow tonight, as if the noise is intruding on your thoughts. The faint clatter of carts in the street, the distant shout of a vendor, and the ever-present murmur of human existence drift into your mind. It's impossible to shut it out. You try to focus on the sound of your own breathing, counting the steady inhales and exhales, hoping to lull yourself into rest. But every breath reminds you that your body is already worn. Your back aches from the endless lifting, your fingers are raw from the tools, and your stomach growls in frustration, knowing that the stale bread you ate hours ago won't be enough to fill you tomorrow. Yet, there's nothing to be done about it now. You'll have to face the same hunger, the same exhaustion, when you wake. The night seems to stretch on longer than it should. It's in these hours, as you lie there, that the harshness of your life feels most real. The city outside isn't a distant thing. It's a constant, unyielding presence, just like the walls of this insula that encircle you. You've grown used to the noise, to the discomfort, to the grime and the smell, but tonight, it feels almost like it's suffocating you. You wonder about those who have been here longer. Have they given in to this exhaustion, this endless grind of survival? Or have they found some kind of peace in it? Some way to navigate the crushing weight of the empire? You've seen faces like theirs, hardened, worn down by years of labour, eyes that have learned to shut off and to stop searching for a way out. It scares you. The thought that maybe one day you too will simply fade into the grind, your life becoming just another layer in the city's eternal struggle for survival. But then, the morning comes, as it always does. The faint light that sneaks in through your window is the same as the day before. Nothing has changed. The city, the insula, your body, none of it has shifted or become any less oppressive. You pull yourself out of bed, feeling the weight of it all pressed down on you once again. Your legs are stiff, your back sore. The ache in your head reminds you that there's no room for rest. It's time to get up and face another day. You shuffle toward the corner where your chamber pot waits, your steps slow and mechanical. The cold floor under your feet sends a shiver up your spine, and the familiar task of emptying it feels as draining as the work ahead. There's no time to hesitate, no time to think. You just do it, as you've done every other day, because there's no other option. You head down the stairs, feeling each creak of the wood beneath you. The building, the city, the weight of the empire. It all seems to grow heavier with each passing day. The street outside is bustling again, the same vendors shouting their wares, the same people hurrying to their own tasks. The noise is deafening, but it's nothing new. You know where you're headed. The worksite waits for you, just as it always does. The foreman is already barking orders at the workers when you arrive. He doesn't spare a glance for you or anyone else. It's the same every day. You grab your tools and get to work, pushing the exhaustion aside and focusing only on the task at hand. The stone, the mortar, the weight of the work, all of it is a blur, a never-ending cycle of labour that doesn't stop for you, for anyone. The sun climbs higher, beating down on you, the sweat pours from your skin, the heat making it nearly impossible to focus. But you can't stop. If you stop, you'll be left behind. The city won't wait for you to catch up. You keep moving, hammering stone, mixing mortar, lifting bricks. As the hours stretch into a haze of sweat and exhaustion, your body aches, but you ignore it. There's no time to feel the pain. The work needs to be done. Lunchtime comes, but there's no relief in sight. The bread is the same, stale, dry, and hard to swallow. The wine is watered down, offering no refreshment. You eat quickly, barely tasting the food, and then it's back to the worksite. The rest of the day is the same, more of the same endless labour, each moment blurring into the next, until the sun starts to dip below the horizon, signalling the end of the workday. But even then, there's no escape. The streets are still alive with noise, the city still churning around you. It never stops. The walk back to the insula is a slow one. Your legs are heavy, your body worn. You pass the same faces, the same beggars, the same thieves. The world is still moving, and you're just one of the countless people moving through it. You climb the stairs back to your room, the creaks of the building seeming louder now, more oppressive. The night is no better than the day, silent but heavy with the weight of the world. You lie down on your mattress, with straw poking through the fabric. It's uncomfortable, but it's all you have. You close your eyes, but sleep doesn't come easy. The ache in your body is too great, and your mind is too full. You think about tomorrow, you think about the days ahead. How much longer can this go on? How much longer can you keep surviving in a world that doesn't care? But then the dawn comes again, and you drag yourself out of bed, ready for another day. Because in this city, survival isn't a choice, it's all you've got. And tomorrow, you'll do it all over again. The city is already alive by the time you step out of your insula. The noise swelling around you as you make your way down the narrow streets. The vendors are already shouting, hawking their goods, and the clamour of the marketplace fills the air. You don't stop, don't look around, don't spare a moment for the noise. There's no time to waste, the world moves forward, and you have no choice but to keep up. You can feel the weight of the city pressing down on you even as you walk through it. The stench of refuse, the acrid smoke from cooking fires, the sweat of bodies packed into the streets, all of it mixes in the air, thick and suffocating. Yet, you breathe it in because there's no other choice. The city doesn't change. It doesn't slow down for you. The buildings, the people, the noise, it all continues. And you're a small part of it, moving with the current, trying not to be swept away. The work site awaits you. The foreman is there, shouting at the workers, his voice cutting through the air like a whip. You don't even acknowledge him. There's no need to. He doesn't care about you, and you don't care about him. The only thing that matters is the work, the tasks ahead, the spoons, the mortar, the endless hours of labour. You pick up your tools and get to work. The rhythm of your movement's automatic, driven by the need to keep up, to survive. The sun climbs higher, the heat intensifying, but it doesn't matter. Your body is used to the exhaustion now. The sweat that pours from your skin is just another part of the daily routine. The weight of the stone, the roughness of the mortar, everything is familiar. Everything is known. It's a strange kind of comfort, this constant labour. It's hard, it's gruelling, but it's something you can count on. Something that fills the space left by everything else in your life. Lunchtime comes, but it doesn't offer much. The bread is stale, the wine watered down. It's the same as always, food that barely sustains you. But it's enough to keep you going. The streets hum with a life as you eat quickly. The vendors continuing their loud calls in the background. You don't listen to them. You don't listen to anything except the task at hand, the task that is always there, always waiting. The rest of the afternoon passes in a blur of motion. The heat is oppressive now, the sun high in the sky, beating down on you with an unforgiving intensity. But you don't stop. You can't. There's no time for rest, no time for weakness. If you stop, if you falter, you'll fall behind. And falling behind here is worse than anything else. Falling behind means becoming invisible. It means becoming one of the countless nameless faces that make up the backdrop of the empire. By the time the sun starts to dip below the horizon, signalling the end of the workday, you're exhausted. Your body is sore, your muscles ache, and your hands are raw from the constant work. But there's no relief. There's no rest, not yet. The streets are still crowded, the noise still loud. The city never truly sleeps, and neither do you. You're too far gone now, too used to the constant hum of life around you. You've learned to exist in it, to move through it without acknowledging the weight of it. You make your way back to the insula, your legs dragging, your feet sore from the day's labour. The familiar faces pass by, the same beggars, the same thieves, the same people who have become part of the fabric of this place. You don't look at them, you don't stop, you just keep moving, climbing the stairs back to your room. Inside, the darkness is thick, and the air is cool, but still heavy with the day's remnants. You collapse onto your mattress, the straw digging into your skin, but it doesn't matter. You've made it through another day. Tomorrow will be the same work, the same grind, the same city, and you'll do it again, because there's no other way to survive. You close your eyes, but sleep doesn't come easily. Your body is too tired, your mind too full. You think about the day, about the work, about the city. You think about what it means to survive in a place like this. And for a moment, the weight of it all feels unbearable, like it's too much to carry. But then you shake it off. There's no time for thinking. Not here, not now. The city is waiting. Tomorrow, it will be the same. The first light of dawn breaks through the cracks in the insula, cold and grey. You blink your eyes open, groggy from the restless sleep that never quite settles. Your body feels as if it's been run through a mill, every muscle protesting, every joint stiff. Yet you push yourself upright with the same tired resolve you've used for years now. It's the same every day, a ritual you know too well. No matter how weary you are, the day waits for you, and there's no room for weakness. You move to the corner, empty the chamber pot, and then shuffle down the stairs, the same creaks of the building greeting you. The air outside is thick with the remnants of the previous night's activity, the smell of food, of sweat, and the unmistakable scent of refuse. The market is already buzzing with energy, the vendors calling out, offering their wares, while the street is alive with noise, the daily chaos that never stops. Your stomach growls, but you push it to the back of your mind. Hunger is a constant companion now, but it's nothing new. You've learned to ignore it, to feed yourself only when necessary. And today, like every other, you'll get by with stale bread and watered down wine. It's not much, but it's enough to keep you moving. You make your way through the streets, your feet dragging slightly. The cobblestones beneath you are uneven, as if even the ground itself is worn down by the weight of the city. The noise rises around you. Horses clattering down the street, the clamour of voices, the occasional shout or cry. But you don't pay attention to it. You've learned to block out the world around you, to focus only on the task ahead. The city is a constant, relentless force, and if you let it overwhelm you, it will swallow you whole. The work site awaits. The foreman is already there, barking orders, moving from worker to worker, demanding more, pushing harder. You don't make eye contact. There's no need. He doesn't care about you, and you don't care about him. It's just work, just survive. You pick up your tools and join the others, the familiar rhythm of labour taking over your body, the weight of the stone, the roughness of the mortar, the ache in your hands. It's all part of the same cycle. The sun climbs higher, the heat growing more oppressive by the minute. Sweat pours down your back, but you don't stop. The work needs to be done. It always needs to be done. You don't have the luxury of complaining, and you don't have the luxury of slowing down. If you do, you'll be left behind. The thought gnaws at you. If you fall behind, if you stop for even a moment, you might never catch up again. Your mind drifts. Only for a moment. There's no room for thought, only action. Every movement is calculated. Every swing of the hammer, every step on the scaffolding, as every stone that's laid, each one a small victory in the never-ending battle of survival. You don't think about the future. You can't. The only thing that matters is the next moment, the next task, the next layer of stone to be added to the pile. Lunchtime arrives, but it offers little reprieve. You wolf down the stale bread and watered wine, barely tasting it. The market around you continues its chaotic hum. The same faces, the same noise, the same grind. You finish quickly, knowing that the moment you stop is the moment you fall behind. The foreman calls you back to the work site. There's no rest here. Not for people like you. The rest of the afternoon passes in the same haze of exhaustion. The sun continues its relentless climb, the heat becoming unbearable. The sweat stings your eyes, and the air grows thick with dust. Your body aches with every movement, but you push through. You have no choice. There's no one to help you, no one to offer a hand or a moment of respite. You keep moving, keep working, because the alternative is worse. By the time the sun begins to dip below the horizon, signalling the end of the day, your body is completely drained. Your hands are raw from the constant work, your legs feel like they might collapse beneath you at any moment, and your head is pounding. But it doesn't matter. You finish your work, as always, and head back to the insula. The streets are quieter now, but they are still filled with the same people. The same faces you've passed 1,000 times. The beggars, the thieves, the vendors, everyone moving in the same rhythm, surviving in the same city. You climb the stairs back to your room, your body protesting with every step. The building creaks as you move through it, the familiar sound of the insula surrounding you like a shroud. Inside, the air is cool but still heavy with the remnants of the day's heat. You collapse onto your mattress, the straw poking through the fabric, but it's enough. It's all you have. You close your eyes, but sleep doesn't come. The noise of the city is still present, even now, as if it's impossible to escape. The thought of tomorrow looms large in your mind, but you push it away. You can't think about it. Not now. tomorrow will be the same as today. The same work, the same grind, the same city. You'll wake up and you'll eat the same stale bread, you'll face the same foreman, you'll sweat under the same sun, and you'll survive just as you have every other day. It's the only choice you have, and maybe, just maybe, that's enough. The darkness presses in around you, but sleep remains elusive. You try to ignore the ache in your body, the way your limbs feel like they have been carved from stone, the tightness in your back that refuses to ease. The night feels colder than usual, but it's nothing new. Your mattress, the walls, the ceiling, they all seem to freeze the warmth out of the air. You shift beneath the rough wool blanket, trying to find comfort. But the bed is as unforgiving as the city outside. It's not a place meant for rest. The sound of distant chatter, muffled by the thick walls of your insula, seeps into your thoughts. Somewhere outside, the world is still moving. The voices, the clamour of the market, the occasional crash of a cart. These noises become your companions now, familiar, constant. You wonder if, in time, you'll stop hearing them altogether, if they'll become like the weight in your body that you've learned to ignore. But no, the noise keeps coming, relentless, gnawing at you. The city doesn't stop. It doesn't care that you're tired, that your body is begging for a break. There's no time for that in this place. Not here, not in the heart of the empire, where survival isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. You roll over, eyes still open, staring into the dimness. Tomorrow's work is already starting to form in your mind, the thought of it as constant as the aching in your bones. You don't need to look at the sky to know that the sun will rise, just as it does every day, casting its hot, unforgiving light across the streets of the city, the same streets that have seen thousands like you pass through, tired, worn, but unwilling to stop. Tomorrow, like every other day, will be the same. Your eyes close, but sleep doesn't come easily. Time stretches, dragging on like the hours of work ahead, but eventually, exhaustion takes over. The rhythm of your breathing slows, and the world around you fades into a dull, familiar haze. The sound of the first rooster crowing breaks through your sleep, a harsh reminder that the day is starting whether you're ready for it or not. You stir, your body protesting against the movement, but you pull yourself up, and your mind already shifting into the rhythm of the day. There's no time to waste. You've learnt that lesson long ago. The city waits for no one. It doesn't care if you're tired, sick, or broken. It just keeps moving, grinding you down like the stones underfoot. You drag yourself out of bed, the cold stone floor biting at your bare feet. Your body feels as though it's been trampled, but you shake it off and go through the motions, empty the chamber pot, wash your face with the cold water from the basin. The usual. There's nothing new, nothing that will change, not until the cycle of the city itself breaks. But it doesn't, and you don't have the luxury of stopping. The noise outside the insula is already beginning to rise, a steady hum that fills the air and presses against your ears. The same vendors shout their prices, the same children run through the streets, their laughter echoing, as if the world outside is untouched by the heaviness you feel inside. You step outside into the daylight, the sunlight too harsh on your eyes. The world is already alive, already moving, and you step into it like you have every other morning. The work site awaits, and the foreman is already there, barking orders at the men who have gathered for the day's labour. You don't look at him. You don't need to. His voice is the same as always, sharp, demanding, relentless. It's the sound of the empire itself. You gather your tools, feeling the weight of them in your hands, the same tools you've used for so long now, and you get to work. The stone feels heavier today, the mortar sticks to your fingers, and the sun burns even hotter than it did yesterday. But you don't stop, you can't. The work needs to be done, and the city doesn't care how you feel. It doesn't care about your tired muscles or your aching back, and it just needs to keep moving, and you're a small part of that. If you stop, if you falter, you'll be lost in the tide of the city's demands. So you keep moving one step at a time, hammering the stone, mixing the mortar, lifting the heavy bricks. The hours blur into one another, the sun beats down mercilessly, and the sweat pours down your face, mixing with the dust in the air. You don't stop, you don't think. The rhythm of the work takes over, the weight of each task dragging you forward, keeping you locked in the cycle of labour. The world around you, chaotic, noisy, full of life, seems distant, like it belongs to someone else, someone who doesn't have to worry about surviving each day. By midday, the heat is nearly unbearable, the air thick with the smell of sweat and dust. You eat quickly, bread, stale, dry, unappealing. The wine is watered down, barely more than flavoured water, but it's enough to keep you going, enough to keep your body functioning for the next few hours. The work continues. The same tasks, the same grind. Your body aches with every movement. Your hands roar from the constant labour. But you don't stop. There's no time for that. The foreman's voice cuts through the air, and you follow his orders without thinking. The sun climbs higher, and the day stretches on, each hour melding into the next. The city doesn't care about you, about your tiredness, about your aches. It just keeps moving, relentless, unyielding. The end of the workday comes eventually, but the relief is fleeting. The streets are still alive, buzzing with activity, the noise of the marketplace filling the air. You head back to the insula, your legs heavy with the weight of another day's labour. The climb up the stairs is slow, each step feeling like an eternity, but you make it. You're back. Inside, the air is cooler, but it doesn't offer comfort. You collapse onto the mattress, the straw poking into your skin, your body aches, your mind is numb, and your stomach growls, but you close your eyes, knowing that tomorrow will be the same. Another day, another grind, the same city, the same cycle. And so, you rest for the night, knowing that when the morning comes, you'll rise and do it all again because that's what you do. That's all you can do. The cold stone beneath your feet greets you in the early hours of the morning, as the first light of the day filters weakly through the cracks in the walls of your insula. It feels like déjà vu, a relentless loop that you are powerless to escape. Your body protests as you drag yourself out of the bed, still aching from yesterday's labour, but there's no choice. The cycle of survival in this city doesn't pause for you, not for a moment. You move through the familiar morning routine. The chamber pot is emptied in silence, the cold water splashed on your face only slightly better than the dust that coats your skin. Every movement is mechanical, just as it was yesterday. And the day before, you step into the street, your eyes squinting against the blinding sun, the smell of the market already wafting toward you. It's the same as always. The cries of the vendors, the clatter of carts, the shuffling of feet on the cobbled roads. Everything moves in its unceasing rhythm. As you walk toward the work site, you notice the faces of the other workers, their eyes tired, their bodies worn. You recognize the exhaustion in their movements, the same resignation that's begun to take root in your own heart. The foreman is already barking orders, his voice cutting through the noise of the city like a whip. You don't acknowledge him. There's no need to. His commands are as predictable as the dawn, and they don't care about you, not your well-being, not your fatigue. All that matters is that the work gets done. The stone feels heavier today, as if even it resents the endless tasks. Your hands move automatically, the motions burned into your memory, but the fatigue presses on you, building with every swing of the hammer. You try not to think about the aching in your back or the exhaustion in your limbs. It's easier that way, easier to push through it all. There's no other choice. The weight of the empire hangs on your shoulders, as it does for everyone else in this city, and it doesn't lighten for anyone. The workday drags on, each hour blurring into the next. The sun climbing higher and higher, the heat is unbearable, but it's nothing new. You've learned to endure it, just as you've learned to endure the work, the noise, and the ever-present weight of survival. Sweat pours down your face and stinging your eyes, but you keep moving. Your body is no longer yours, it's become a tool. A machine built for the purpose of surviving this endless grind. And so you continue, hammering stone, lifting brick, carrying the burden of an empire on your shoulders. At midday, the sun is scorching, and the air feels thick with dust. You take a brief break to grab what little sustenance is available, stale bread, watered-down wine. It barely fills the hunger, but it keeps you going, just enough to push through the rest of the day. The streets are alive with the noise of the city. The vendors shouting, the children running, the market continuing in its usual frenzy. You stand there for a moment, letting the sounds wash over you, letting them fill the silence in your mind. The rest of the afternoon is much like the morning, hot, tiring, and repetitive. Each task bleeds into the next, and the ache in your body becomes a constant companion. The hours seem endless, but you continue. There's no other way. If you stop, if you falter, you'll be swallowed up by the city. Just like so many others, the work is your lifeline, even if it's a harsh one. The foreman's voice still cuts through the air, sharp and demanding, but you've long stopped hearing it. It's just another part of the background noise now, like the city itself, always there, always demanding more. When the sun finally begins to set, signaling the end of the workday, you feel the familiar exhaustion settle into your bones, Your hands are raw, your legs are tired, and your mind is numb. But it doesn't matter. You've made it through another day. The city doesn't care about your fatigue. It doesn't care if you're hurting. It doesn't care if you're just trying to survive. It moves on, always forward, always demanding more, and you will keep up because there's no other choice. You make your way back to the insula. The streets a little quieter now, the day winding down, but the noise never truly fades. It lingers in the background. A constant reminder that the city is always alive, always moving. You climb the stairs back to your room, your body aching with every step. The familiar creaks of the insula greet you, and you collapse onto the mattress, feeling the weight of the day settle into your bones. You close your eyes, but sleep is a fleeting visitor. Your mind races, thinking about tomorrow, about the endless cycle. Tomorrow will be the same. The work, the grind, the exhaustion. It will all begin again. But for now, there's nothing to do but lie here, staring at the ceiling, listening to the city continue outside. Tomorrow will come, and when it does, you will rise again, just like you always do. Because in this city, there is no room for weakness, no room for rest. There's only survival, and so you survive, day after day, because it's all you can do. The first rays of dawn slip through the cracks in the insula's walls, a harsh reminder that the world never stops, not even for a moment. You stir, the aching in your body greeting you before your mind fully wakes, the familiar stiffness in your joints, the soreness in your muscles. Your body is a map of yesterday's labour, and you already know what's coming. Another day, another cycle of work. The Empire doesn't care if you're tired. It doesn't care if your body is worn and broken. The rhythm of the city continues, indifferent to your pain, and you must follow it. Your eyes open slowly, squinting against the first light that forces its way into your room. The blanket, damp from sweat, clings to your skin, but you pull it off, aware that it offers no comfort. You push yourself up, feeling the weight of your limbs, heavy and uncooperative, as you make your way toward the corner to empty the chamber pot. The same chore, the same routine. Every day is an echo of the one before it, a loop you can't escape. The streets outside are already alive with the noises of the city. The shouts of vendors, the distant calls of children, the sound of carts rattling over the cobblestones. You step outside, squinting against the harsh sunlight. Your feet already sore from the journey to the worksite. The market bustles with energy, but you don't pause to take it in. You don't have time for that. The world around you is moving, but you're just one small part of it. You move with it, following the rhythm without question. The worksite is already humming with activity when you arrive. The foreman stands at the front, barking orders at the men who have gathered for the day's labour. You don't need to hear his voice to know what's coming. It's always the same. The instructions are nothing new, the same tasks, the same demands. The only thing that changes is your own body, getting weaker, growing more worn with each passing day. You pick up your tools without a second thought, joining the others, your hands instinctively moving to the rhythm of the work. The stone, the mortar, the heavy bricks, all of it feels like a part of you now, as if you've become one with the labour. The task consumes you, and in a way, it's easier that way. When your hands are busy, your mind can't wander to the ache in your body or the weight of the world outside. The sun climbs higher, beating down relentlessly on you and the others. Sweat pours down your back and stinging your eyes, but you ignore it. It's the same every day. The heat, the exhaustion, the physical pain, they're just part of the grind. You move through it, pushing yourself harder, because there's no other option. You can't stop. Not here, not now. The morning passes in a blur of repetitive movements, the hours melting together in a haze of labour and sweat. You lift, you hammer, you mix, and through it all, your body protests. But you don't listen. You can't afford to. If you slow down, if you show any weakness, the city will swallow you whole. So that you keep moving, and the noise of the worksite becomes your focus. The clatter of stone against stone, the sounds of your colleagues labouring beside you, is the only thing that matters right now. Lunchtime arrives, but it offers no reprieve. You grab the same stale bread, the same watered-down wine. It's not much, but it's enough to keep you going. You eat quickly, barely tasting the food, and then it's back to work. The same rhythm, the same tasks, the same grind. The day stretches on when you push through it, knowing that when the sun dips below the horizon, the work will stop for a while, but the world won't. The afternoon wears on, the heat of the day weighing heavily on you. Every movement feels like an effort, your body growing more tired with each passing minute. Your hands are raw, your back is stiff, but you keep going. The foreman's voice rings in your ears, demanding more, pushing harder. But it's not his words that drive you. It's the knowledge that you have no other choice. The city will not stop for you. The empire will not wait for you. You keep moving because survival depends on it. As the sun begins to set, the workday comes to an end, but the relief is fleeting. Your body aches, your mind is numb, and yet you know that tomorrow will be the same work, the same tasks, the same city. There's no escape from it. The city is relentless, and you are just another small cog in its ever-turning wheel. You make your way back to the insula, your legs heavy with exhaustion. The streets are quieter now, but they're still alive with the hum of the city. The same people, the same faces, everyone moving, always moving. You climb the stairs back to your room, the familiar creak of the building beneath you as you make your way up. Inside, the air is cool, but it doesn't bring comfort. You lie down on your mattress, feeling the roughness of the straw beneath you, and close your eyes. But sleep doesn't come easily. The noise of the city is still present, and your mind races with thoughts of tomorrow. Tomorrow will be the same. The work, the exhaustion, the ache in your bones. It will all start again when the sun rises. But for now, all you can do is lie there, knowing that you'll wake up and do it all over again. Because in this city, survival isn't a choice, it's the only option. The first light of dawn creeps through the cracks in your insula's stone walls, barely breaking the darkness. It feels like you've only just closed your eyes. But the relentless rhythm of the city doesn't care. The city doesn't rest, and neither do you. You push yourself up, your body protesting every movement, stiff from yesterday's labour. The soreness in your joints is a familiar pain, one that you've grown used to over the years. There's no time for rest, no time to mourn the toll it's taking on you. The Empire doesn't stop, and neither can you. You shuffle through the motions, dragging yourself to the corner to empty the chamber pot. The cold water splashed on your face barely wakes you, but it's enough to keep you from falling back into the grip of exhaustion. There's a gnawing hunger in your stomach, but you ignore it. The day is already starting, and you have no choice but to move with it. The sounds of the city creep in as you step outside, the clamour of the market, the chatter of the vendors, the clopping of horses' hooves against cobblestones, is the same as every other day. The sun is already rising, casting its harsh light over the streets. It's too bright, too hot already, but you don't stop, you don't even flinch. You walk through it like a cog in a machine, following the same path you've walked countless times before. The marketplace is already bustling, filled with the same faces you see every day. The vendors call out their prices. The children run through the streets, the same chaos that you've learned to ignore. It's a strange kind of survival, this ignoring of the world around you. You move through it, not letting it touch you, not letting it slow you down. The worksite is waiting, the foreman is waiting, the Empire is waiting. You arrive at the worksite to the familiar sound of the foreman's voice cutting through the air. His orders are sharp, demanding, but you don't listen. You've stopped listening long ago. The work is the same: move the stones, mix the mortar, build, build, build. The city never stops demanding more. It never stops moving forward, and neither can you. The sun climbs higher, the heat growing unbearable. Sweat pours down your back, and the air is thick with dust and the sharp scent of stone. Your muscles ache with every movement, but you don't stop. There's no time for that. The work needs to be done. The foreman's voice rings out again, but you don't hear the words, just the command. You follow it, your hands and feet moving of their own accord, carrying you through the motions of the work. The hours stretch on, each minute feeling like an eternity. Your hands are raw, your back is sore, but you keep moving. The rhythm of the work is your only anchor now, the only thing that keeps you going. You don't think about the pain and the hunger, the exhaustion. You just focus on the task at hand, the stone, the mortar, the endless cycle. Lunchtime comes, but it offers no reprieve. You eat quickly, barely tasting the stale bread or watered-down wine. The city continues around you. The same noise, the same frenzy. You don't pause to look at it. You don't pause to think about it. There's only the work that never stops, the work that you can never escape. The rest of the afternoon drags on, the heat growing more intense as the sun reaches its peak. Your body aches, but you don't stop. There's no time for that. The worksite is demanding, the foreman pushing harder with each passing minute, his voice a constant presence. You move through it, each step a repetition of the last. The same motions, the same tasks. You don't need to think about it anymore. You've become part of it. The city's pulse is in your veins now, and you move with it. pushing through the fatigue, through the hunger, through the pain. As the sun starts to dip below the horizon, signaling the end of the day, you feel the weight of your exhaustion settle in. Your legs are heavy, your muscles are screaming, but the work is done for now. The foreman calls for the end of the day, his voice still sharp, still demanding, but you don't listen. You've already finished what he asked. The rest is for tomorrow. You make your way back to the insula, your steps slow and laboured. The streets are quieter now, but the city is still alive. The noise is fading, but it never truly goes away. It lingers, like the dust that coats your skin. The world is still moving, still turning, and you are just one small part of it. You climb the stairs back to your room, the familiar creaks of the insula greeting you as you reach your space. Inside, the air is cool, but it doesn't bring comfort. You collapse onto your mattress, the straw digging into your skin, but it's a familiar pain. You close your eyes, but sleep doesn't come easily. Tomorrow looms on the horizon, and you know it will be the same. The same work, the same grind, the same city. The cycle continues, and you have no choice but to keep up. Tomorrow will be the same as today. Another day, another round of labour. The city waits for no one. The empire doesn't care about your fatigue, your aches, your dreams. It moves forward, always, and you must move with it, because that's the only way to survive. You lie in the darkness, the weight of another day pressing down on you like the very stones you've been hauling since the sun rose hours ago. Your eyes are open, but sleep is a distant thought. The streets outside have quieted, but the city never truly sleeps. It breathes around you, a constant rhythm of noise and movement that never lets up. In the silence of your room, the sounds of Rome still echo in your mind. The cries of the vendors, the clanging of carts, the distant shouts of children running wild in the streets, all of it feels so far away, yet so close, as if you can never fully escape it. The mattress beneath you is nothing more than straw wrapped in cloth, stiff and uncomfortable, but it's all you have. The blanket is damp with the sweat of another long day, and the coolness of the stone walls does nothing to ease your discomfort. You lie there, trying to find sleep, but it evades you. Every time your mind starts to drift into the fog of unconsciousness, you're jerked back by the aching in your body, the weariness that refuses to fade, or the thought of the day ahead. The endless grind of survival that waits for you as soon as the sun rises again. The ceiling above you is cracked, just like everything else in this insula, a temporary structure that's barely holding itself together. The walls seem to close in on you, the air thick with the smell of mildew, dust, and the faint scent of burning incense wafting from a distant temple. You can't remember the last time you saw a clean surface, the last time you breathed air that didn't feel like it was laced with the remnants of the city's chaos. It's always the same, the noise, the smell, the exhaustion. You long for silence, for peace, but the Empire doesn't allow for such luxuries. Eventually, the weight of your body gives in to the need for rest, and you fall into a fitful sleep, one filled with dreams that blur together in a haze of half-formed images and fleeting sensations. You dream of the streets, the worksite, the foreman's voice, the faces of the people around you, each one as tired as you, each one as beaten down by the city's demands. You dream of your hands, raw and bruised from the labour, and the ache in your back that never seems to go away. In these dreams, there is no escape, no relief, just the endless cycle of work, the constant fight for survival in a world that doesn't care. The sound of a rooster crowing breaks through the haze of your sleep, pulling you back into the waking world. You blink your eyes open, and the harsh light of dawn is already creeping through the cracks in the walls. It's morning again, and the cycle begins once more. You push yourself up, in your body screaming in protest, but there's no time to listen. You don't have the luxury of laying in bed, not when the city is already awake, already demanding more. The morning is, as it always is. You stumble through the routine, empty the chamber pot, splash your face with water, and gather the meagre belongings you own. There's no time for thought, no time for contemplation. The world is moving, and you have no choice but to move with it. You step outside, the streets already bustling with activity, the air thick with the sounds of the market, the calls of vendors, the chatter of the people. You blend into it. Just another face in the crowd, just another body, moving through the same cycle of labour. The work site is waiting, as it always is. The foreman is there, shouting orders, pushing you and the others forward, demanding more. You don't look at him, you don't need to. His voice is just another part of the background noise now, the same as the city's constant hum. You pick up your tools and get to work, your body moving on autopilot, the motions familiar and repetitive. Stone after stone, brick after brick, The work never stops. It's the same as yesterday, the same as the day before. The sun climbs higher in the sky, the heat becoming more oppressive. But you don't stop. You can't stop. There's no room for weakness here, no space for slowing down. Your muscles ache, your hands are raw, but you push through it. There's no other way. You've learnt that lesson long ago. If you stop, if you falter, you'll be left behind. And being left behind in this city means being forgotten. You'll be swallowed by the endless machine of the Empire, just another nameless face lost to the grind. Lunch arrives, but it doesn't offer much relief. The bread is stale, the wine watered down. It's enough to keep you going, but not much else. You eat quickly, barely tasting the food, knowing that the moment you stop, the moment you take too long to rest, the work will fall behind, and there's no room for that in this world. The work site is still bustling when you finish, the foreman already barking out the next set of orders, and you fall back into line. It's the same rhythm, the same beat, and you follow it without question. The afternoon drags on, the sun growing hotter, the hours stretching on like a never-ending river of exhaustion. Your body feels like it's been run through a mill, every muscle and joint aching, but you don't stop. You can't stop. The city demands too much, and there's no room for hesitation. The work continues. The stones pile higher, and you move with them, your hands and your body, your soul, all part of this endless machine. As the sun dips lower in the sky, you feel the familiar ache of the end of the day settling into your bones. You've made it through another round of labour, but the relief is fleeting. You know that tomorrow will be the same, the grind never stopping, the cycle continuing without end. The city doesn't care if you're tired, it doesn't care if you're broken, it just keeps moving, and you must move with it. You make your way back to the insula, your body heavy with the weight of the day. The streets are quieter now, but the hum of the city still lingers in the air. You climb the stairs back to your room, the familiar creaks of the building greeting you. Inside the air is cooler, but it offers no comfort. You lie down on the mattress, the straw poking through the fabric, and close your eyes. But sleep doesn't come easily. Tomorrow will be the same. The work, the labour, the exhaustion. It will all start again when the sun rises. But for now, you lie in the darkness, knowing that the city doesn't stop, but it doesn't care about you, about your fatigue, your body, your pain. It just moves forward, and you must follow, because that's the only way to survive. As the darkness of the night deepens, the insula feels colder, the silence pressing in like the walls around you. The weight of the day lingers in your body, pulling at your bones, but you know there's no time to dwell on it. Rest is a fleeting thing here, something you grab for a moment, only to have it snatched away as soon as the morning comes again. Tomorrow will be just like today, the same streets, the same work under the same grind. The city never stops, and neither can you. You shift beneath the rough blanket, trying to find some semblance of comfort, but your body is too tired, too sore. The exhaustion wraps itself around you, tightening like a vice. But still, sleep doesn't come. Your thoughts swirl around you, racing as your mind wanders through the same thoughts it always does when night falls. The cycle, the work, the cities, everything's endless, and there's no way out. The sounds of the city drift in through the thin walls, even at night. The faint echoes of distant chatter, the occasional shout, the hum of the marketplace that never truly dies down. The world is always awake, always moving. Even when you close your eyes, you can't escape it. The rhythm of it is always there, always in the background of your thoughts, like the constant thrum of a drum. You try to push it out of your mind, but it doesn't work. The thought of tomorrow gnaws at you, the knowledge that the same labour, the same struggle, will start again as soon as the sun rises. You'll wake up, aching, tired, and with no choice but to push through another day. The thought of it is almost unbearable, but you can't escape it. The Empire doesn't care about your fatigue, it doesn't care about your aches. It only cares about what you can do and what you can produce, and you can't stop. The hours drag on, but eventually you slip into a restless sleep. The dreams are the same, fragments of the city, faces of people you barely know, the weight of labour that never seems to ease. You wake several times in the night, the sounds of the insula settling around you, the creak of the walls and the occasional cough or murmur from your neighbours. But each time, sleep slips further away from you, your mind too tangled in the thoughts of the day ahead. When the first light of morning breaks through the cracks in the wall again, it feels like you've just closed your eyes. But there's no time to rest. The day is here, and with it, The same demands, the same routine, the same exhaustion. You push yourself out of bed, your body aching, the remnants of the night's rest already fading. The air in your room is cold, and you shiver as you move through the familiar motions of your morning routine. There's no need to think about it. You know what comes next. You step outside, and the cold air of the morning bites at your skin. The streets are already alive, just as they were yesterday, just as they were the day before. The same vendors call out their prices, the same children run wild in the streets, the same noise and hear the same chaos. The city is alive, always moving, always demanding more, and you move with it, because you have no choice. You make your way to the work site, your feet dragging as you walk, the weight of the coming day already pressing down on you. The foreman is waiting, under his voice cutting through the air, commanding, demanding. The work will begin, just as it always does. You don't question it, you're told to. You don't question the grind, it is what it is, and you are just another part of it. You pick up your tools, your hands moving with practiced ease, and the cycle begins again. Stone after stone, brick after brick. The work continues, the sun climbs higher, the heat becomes more unbearable. But you don't stop, you keep moving, your body aching, but you keep going because there is no other choice. The work must be done, the empire demands it, the foreman demands it, the city demands it. Lunchtime comes, but there is no real relief. You eat, but it's just a formality. The bread is stale, the wine watered down, the meal nothing but a brief pause before the labour starts again. The worksite hums with activity, the sound of tools against stone, the calls of your colleagues as they push through their own exhaustion. There is no time to rest, no time to linger. The work must continue. The afternoon stretches on, and each hour blending into the next. The sun beats down mercilessly, and your body feels like it's being ground into the earth with every movement. But you don't stop. You can't stop. The city moves, and you must move with it. The worksite is a blur of stone, mortar, and sweat. Your hands are raw, your back is sore, but you push through it because that's what you do. That's all you can do. As the day wears on, the weight of exhaustion begins to settle in deeper. Your body aches, your muscles burn, but the work continues. There's no end in sight. Not until the sun sets and the work is done for the day. But even then, there is no true relief. The thought of tomorrow hangs over you, always there, always waiting. When the workday finally ends, you make your way back to the insula. Your body is heavy, each step a reminder of the labour you've just endured. The streets are quieter now, but the city still hums with life. The noise never really goes away. It's always there, like a constant backdrop to your existence. You climb the stairs back to your room, feeling each creak of the building beneath you as you go. Inside, the air is cooler, but it doesn't bring comfort. You lie down on the mattress, feeling the straw digging into your skin, and close your eyes. Sleep comes, but it's fitful, restless. You know tomorrow will be the same, the work, the grind, the city. It will all start again, and you will move with it, because that's the only way to survive. The early morning light seeps through the cracks in the wall, breaking the darkness just enough to pull you from your fitful sleep. Your body aches as if it has been moulded by the very stone you've worked with for days. You stretch, but the weariness of yesterday still clings to you like a second skin. The familiar heaviness settles in your bones as you push yourself up, each movement feeling more like a battle than the last. The insula is still cold, the walls thick with the humidity of the night, but you hardly notice. It's the same as always. You drag your feet toward the chamber pot, emptying it in the same motion you've done every morning. There's no time for rest, no time for the luxury of reflection. The day is already on its way, and with it, the cycle that never ends. The grind of the city waits for no one. Not for you, not for anyone. As you step outside, the early morning air hits you with an almost familiar bite. The city is coming alive, just as it does every morning. The sounds of the street vendors shouting their wares mix with the calls of children running through the streets. Their laughter and shouts piercing the cool morning air. The clatter of carts and the soft groan of the city's waking hustle fill the space around you. You move through it, already lost in the rhythm of the day. You don't pause to admire it, to question it. It's all you've known, all you've been part of for as long as you can remember. The walk to the work site is long, each step heavy with the knowledge of what awaits. The foreman is already there, his voice loud and demanding, his orders a constant buzz that cuts through the morning air. You don't need to hear him to know what's expected. The work is always the same. The tasks are always the same. You pick up your tools, your hands already moving with the practiced ease of someone who has been doing this for too long to remember when it all began. The stone, the mortar, the heat, it's all the same as it was yesterday. The same grind, the same ache in your back, the same blisters on your hands. You don't stop, you can't stop. The sun climbs higher in the sky, and with it, the heat becomes unbearable. Sweat pours down your face, stinging your eyes, but you don't wipe it away. The foreman's voice is a constant presence in the background, but it fades into the noise of the city. You don't need to listen. You know what he wants. The hours stretch on, each one dragging, each one feeling like a small eternity. The work is endless, relentless. Your muscles scream in protest, but you push through it. The stone doesn't stop, the mortar doesn't stop, the city doesn't stop, and you don't stop either. Lunchtime comes, but you don't look forward to it. The bread is stale, the wine watered down, it's the same every day. It's enough to fill the hunger, but not enough to satisfy anything else. You eat quickly, barely tasting the food, knowing that the work is far from over, the world doesn't stop, and neither can you. The foreman doesn't pause. The work continues. The afternoon feels like an eternity. The sun blazes above, unforgiving, its heat beating down on you like a constant hammer. The stones, the mortar, they don't stop, and neither do you. The rhythm is brutal, unyielding, but it's the only rhythm you know. You move with it, your body aching, but there's no room for stopping, no room for weakness. If you stop, you'll be left behind. And in this city, being left behind means being forgotten. It means being swallowed up by the endless tide of labour and demand that this empire runs on. The day wears on and the fatigue deepens, but the work doesn't slow, it never does. The stone doesn't care that you're tired. The mortar doesn't care that your hands are raw. The city doesn't care that your body is screaming for rest. It just moves, always forward, always demanding more, and you must keep up. The foreman's voice continues to cut through the air, but it's just noise now, like the rest of the world. You keep moving, because it's all you can do. You have to keep moving. The sun starts to set, casting long shadows across the worksite, but it doesn't bring relief. You've made it through another day, but the exhaustion in your body feels like it's never going to end. The foreman calls for the day to be over, but you don't feel the satisfaction of it. The work will still be here tomorrow, and the next day, and the day after that. It never ends. The cycle is eternal. You make your way back to the insula, your legs heavy with fatigue, each step a reminder of the day's labour. The streets are quieter now, but the hum of the city still lingers in the background. You climb the stairs back to your room, the familiar creak of the building beneath you. Inside, the air is cooler, but it offers no real comfort. You lie down on the mattress, the straw digging into your skin, but you hardly feel it. Your body is too tired to care. Sleep comes slowly, but when it does, it's fitful, restless. Your mind races, the same thoughts running through your head, over and over again, the cycle, the grind, the city. There's no escape from it, no relief, just more work, more labour, more survival. You close your eyes, but sleep doesn't come easily. The world doesn't stop for you, and neither do you. Tomorrow will be the same as today. The same work, the same exhaustion, the same cycle. The empire doesn't care about your fatigue, your aches, your weariness. It moves forward relentlessly, and you move with it, because that's all you can do. And so, as you drift into sleep, knowing that the next day will begin with the same demands, the same grind, you close your eyes and brace yourself for another round of survival. The city waits for no one, and you are just another small part of it, another cog in the machine. The cycle will continue. You will continue. There is no other choice. The sharp cry of the rooster echoes through the walls, cutting through the haze of your sleep like a knife. You stir, the heavy weight of your body protesting as you pull yourself upright. The exhaustion of yesterday's labour is still lodged deep within you, every muscle and joint stiff and sore. The light outside is faint, a pale wash of dawn that does nothing to warm the cold stone walls surrounding you. The room feels suffocating, the air thick with the dampness of the morning. But there's no time to linger in the comfort of the darkness. The day is already beginning. It's the same as every day. The cycle repeats, the grind begins anew. You force your aching limbs to move, dragging yourself from the meagre straw mattress that feels less like a bed and more like a place where you've simply collapsed. The familiar weight of the chamber pot greets you as it always does, the smell of it mingling with the still, heavy air of the room. You empty it quickly, not wanting to waste time. There's always too much to do. Your feet slap against the cold floor, and you quickly splash water on your face, feeling the shock of it but finding no relief. The water is as cold as the world outside. There's no comfort to be found, no solace to give your weary body. The world is already moving, already demanding, and you have no choice but to move with it. The noise of the city fills your ears as you step out into the street. It's the same sound you've heard 1,000 times before, vendors shouting their wares, children running through the streets, the bustle of life that never stops. It's overwhelming, suffocating, yet you're part of it, moving through it, blending into the crowd, just another face in the sea of people. You make your way toward the work site, each step heavy with the knowledge of what's to come. The foreman's face flashes in your mind, his voice already ringing in your ears, barking orders, demanding more. There's no relief there, no respite. The work site will be the same as it always is, stone, mortar, and the endless grind of labour. There is no pause, no reprieve. You've become part of the machine, just another cog in the system, and that's all you'll ever be. When you arrive, the foreman is already there, his sharp eyes scanning the group of labourers, looking for anyone who isn't moving fast enough. You don't need to hear his orders. You already know what he's going to say. Pick up the tools to start the work, move faster. The city's demands never stop, and neither do you. You fall into place, your hands finding their rhythm in the familiar tasks. The stone, the mortar, the brick. It all blurs together in a haze of motion. The work is endless, relentless, but it's the only thing you know, the only thing that gives you any sense of purpose. The sun climbs higher in the sky and the heat becomes unbearable, pressing down on you like a weight you can't escape. Your skin is slick with sweat, your clothes sticking to you. But there's no relief. You don't stop. You can't stop. The labour is exhausting. But there's no other choice. You've learned that lesson long ago. If you stop, you get left behind. And in this city, being left behind is worse than death. It means being forgotten. Swallowed up by the machine that keeps turning, like no matter who or what it crushes. Lunchtime comes, but it's just another part of the grind. You eat quickly, barely tasting the stale bread, the watered-down wine. It doesn't matter. You don't have time to savour it. The work will start again in moments, and you have to be ready. The foreman's voice is already ringing in your ears, his orders pushing you forward. The stone doesn't care about your hunger, your exhaustion. It doesn't care that your body is already giving out. The city doesn't care. All it wants is more. The afternoon wears on, the heat growing more unbearable with each passing minute. The sun beats down relentlessly, but you keep going. You don't stop, you can't. The work site is a blur of motion, the clatter of stone against stone and the sound of tools hitting mortar, the ever-present hum of the city in the background. You move with it, your body moving on autopilot, your mind blanking out the exhaustion, the pain, the hunger. The work is the only thing that matters now. If you stop and everything falls apart, as the sun begins to dip below the horizon, signalling the end of the workday, the fatigue settles in like a weight. Your muscles ache, your bones feel like they're made of stone. But it's not over, not yet. The foreman calls for the end of the day, but it doesn't bring relief. Tomorrow will be the same work, the same demands, the same exhaustion. The city never stops. You make your way back to the insula, each step heavier than the last. The streets are quieter now, the hustle of the day fading into the soft murmur of the night. You climb the stairs back to your room, your legs trembling from the effort. Inside, the cool air is a brief comfort, but it doesn't last. The mattress is the same as it always is, rough, uncomfortable, offering no true rest. You lie down, your body crying out for sleep, but your mind is still awake, still processing the day's grind, still bracing for tomorrow. Sleep comes slowly, the exhaustion eventually pulling you under, but it's never deep, never peaceful. Tomorrow will be the same. The work, the city, the grind. It doesn't end, and neither do you. You rise again, day after day, and keep moving, because that's the only way to survive. The cycle doesn't care about you, doesn't care about your body, your soul, your pain. It just keeps turning, and you move with it, because there is no other choice. The sun will rise again tomorrow, and with it, the demands of the empire, the stone, the mortar, the brick. The cycle will continue, and you'll be there, another cog in the machine, another body moving through the streets of Rome, just trying to survive. The morning comes too soon, just as it always does. The rooster's cry rips through the stillness of your room, dragging you from the brief respite that sleep had promised. The dull ache of your body is the first thing you feel, the exhaustion still clinging to you like a heavy blanket. The stone walls around you offer no comfort, and the air feels colder today, heavier somehow. You lie there for a moment, eyes closed, trying to steal a few more moments of peace before the day inevitably begins. But peace is not something this city offers, not for people like you. With a groan, you push yourself up from the straw mattress, the familiar ache in your joints flaring up with the movement. Your hands instinctively reach for the chamber pot, and you empty it with the same mechanical routine you've done every morning. The smell it's you, but you don't even flinch anymore. You've grown used to it. The smell of your room, the smell of the city, the scent of sweat and grime, it all blends together, a part of the background now. The cold water from the basin shocks your skin. The rush of it sharp enough to clear the remnants of sleep from your mind, but it doesn't help. The exhaustion is still there, still clinging to you like a weight that won't lift. You don't have time to wallow in it, though there's no time for self-pity in this city. The sun will rise soon, and the work will begin again. You step outside, the cool morning air hitting you like a wave. The city is waking up around you, the streets slowly filling with people, the vendors already setting up their stalls. It's the same scene you've witnessed countless times before. The same noise, the same rhythm, the same relentless pace, and the world is moving and you are a part of it. Even if you feel like you're being dragged along instead of choosing your own path. The work site is waiting for you, just as it was yesterday. The same foreman, the same tasks, nothing changes, nothing ever does. You can feel the weight of it already as you make your way there. The heaviness in your legs, the tightness in your chest. The work will be grueling, the hours long, the demands unyielding. But you don't have a choice. You can't stop. You won't stop. Not here. Not in this city. If you stop, you'll be left behind. And that's not a fate you're willing to face. The foreman greets you with his usual stern expression, his voice carrying orders before you've even fully stepped onto the site. He's like the city itself. Demanding, unforgiving, never satisfied. You grab your tools, and the rhythm begins. The stone, the mortar, the sweat. It's the same as always. The work mind-numbing in its repetition. You don't think about it. You don't have time to think, you just do. The sun climbs higher in the sky, the heat becoming unbearable. But you don't stop. You can't. Your body aches with each movement, but you push through it. It's the same as it always is. The grind, the labour, the sweat, and you move with it, because there's no other choice. Lunchtime comes, but it's no relief. The bread is just as stale. The wine just as watered down. It doesn't matter. Your body craves something more. A moment of rest. A break from the endless cycle. But it's a luxury you can't afford. The work continues, and you have no choice but to continue with it. The afternoon stretches on, the heat growing more intense with each passing hour. You can feel your energy draining, your body starting to give out, but you keep moving. The foreman's voice is a constant hum in the background, pushing you forward, urging you to work faster, harder. You don't look up. You don't need to. You know what's expected. You don't have time to falter. Finally, the workday ends, but the relief you've been waiting for is hollow. The sun sets, casting long shadows over the worksite, but it doesn't bring peace. Tomorrow will be the same work, the same grind. The cycle doesn't stop. You can feel it in your bones, in the ache of your body, in the exhaustion that drags you down with each step. The streets are quieter now as you make your way back to the insula. The noise of the city has dulled, but the hum is still there, always in the background. You climb the stairs back to your room, your legs heavy, your mind exhausted, but you know that tomorrow will be the same. The city doesn't stop, and neither do you. You lie down on the mattress, the straw digging into your back, but you barely notice. The familiar sounds of the insula surround you, but they don't offer comfort. You close your eyes, trying to steal a moment of rest, but sleep doesn't come easily. Your mind races, thoughts swirling around the same cycle of labour, the same grind that never ends. Tomorrow will be the same as today. The stone, the mortar, the sweat, the city demands, and you answer. There is no escape, there is no relief. You'll wake up again tomorrow, and you'll do it all over again. The cycle doesn't sudden stop. And neither do you. The night pulls you under, but it's not restful, more like a shallow pool that refuses to let you sink fully into the depths. Your body is exhausted, your bones aching from the relentless work, but your mind is still wide awake, trapped in the loop of what has become your life. The world outside is Kent, or so it seems, but you know better. Even in the stillness, the city never sleeps. Its pulse beats on, an ever-present hum beneath your skin, an unyielding reminder that tomorrow will be the same as today, and the day before that. You lie still for a moment, eyes fixed on the cracks in the ceiling. Your room, more a cramped prison than a place to rest, feels colder tonight. Or maybe it's just the weariness creeping into your bones, making the walls feel closer, the air heavier. You've been here too long, the smell of damp straw, the scrape of your mattress against your back, the faint sound of someone coughing or arguing down the hall. It's all so familiar, so mundane, so inescapable. Somewhere deep inside, you crave more than this, more than the endless days of work, the ache that settles in your muscles the moment you wake, the constant grind of life in this city that never stops, a life you never asked for, but one you have no choice but to live. But that dream of something different, something more, is always just out of reach, like a shadow that shifts every time you think you can catch it. You can't imagine a day without the weight of it all. The labour, the sweat, the stone and mortar and endless demands. It's a cycle, a pattern, and no matter how hard you try to close your eyes to it, it never lets up. You roll over, the straw mattress creaking beneath you, and pull the thin blanket tighter around your body, trying to hold on to whatever small comfort you can find in this suffocating space. The quiet of the night presses in, but it doesn't offer the peace you need. No, there's no real peace to be found in the Roman Empire. Not in the city that moves like a beast, hungry or relentless, and indifferent to the lives it crushes underfoot. You're just another small piece of that machine, another cog in the wheel, grinding away day after day. The rooster's crowing rips through the air, sharp and unwelcome, dragging you back into the waking world before you can even find the strength to pull yourself up. Another day, another round of the same old grind. The stone walls around you feel colder now, as if even the room itself is bracing for what's to come. You know there's no escape, there's no moment of respite. The foreman will be waiting, demanding more from you than you have to give, pushing you to the limit, and then pushing a little further. The work will not stop, and neither will you. You drag yourself from the mattress, feeling the weight of your own body as though it's betraying you, each movement slow and deliberate. The chamber pot, the water basin, everything in this room is a constant reminder of the life you've found yourself in. You wonder if you'll ever get used to the exhaustion, to the endless demands of the day, but that's a thought you quickly push away. There's no time for weakness. There's no time for wondering about anything other than the work that lies ahead. You step outside, the chill of the early morning biting at your skin, and the world around you stirs to life, just as it does every morning. The vendors are already shouting, the children already running through the streets, the noise of the city growing louder with each passing second. You're just one more face in the crowd, just one more soul among thousands who all move with the same rhythm, the rhythm of survival. The work site is waiting, you don't have to ask, you don't need to know what's expected, you already know. The foreman's eyes are sharp and his voice loud and demanding. There's no greeting, no warmth, just orders. The stone must be laid, the mortar must be mixed, the labour must continue. And so it does. Hour after hour, each brick laid down as if it were the same as the one before it. The heat of the sun presses against your skin, but you don't stop, you can't. The weight of the task at hand is always there, always pushing you forward. Lunch comes, but it's not a break, it's just another pause in the cycle. The bread is dry, the wine watered down, and the taste of it lingers in your mouth, bitter and unsatisfying. You don't savour it. You don't have time. The work will begin again, and so will the ache, the sweat, the hunger that never quite leaves. The city never stops, and neither can you. The afternoon drags on, the hours stretching like an endless desert. The stone, the mortar, the grinding repetition of it all. Your body is weary, but the work continues. There is no end to it. No reprieve. You know that when the sun sets and the workday finally comes to a close, you'll feel the relief of it only for a moment. The next day will come, just like this one, and the grind will start again. As the sun dips low in the sky, you make your way back to the insula, the city now quieter, the work done for the day, but your body is still heavy with the weight of it all. You climb the stairs to your room, your legs aching, your mind too tired to think, but you know that tomorrow, the same demands will await you. The same grind, the same work, the same exhaustion. You lie down, your body too tired to move, but the weariness of the day is not enough to bring you peace. Your mind races with the thoughts of what's to come, what has already come. Tomorrow, the same, the cycle, the grind. And so you close your eyes, knowing that tomorrow, the same fight will begin again, and you will be there, moving with it, because there is no choice. The quiet hum of the city seeps into your room, an ever-present reminder that there's no escape, no retreat. The night lingers for a moment, but sleep is a fleeting visitor, leaving you restless. Tossing in the thin blanket, you hear the distant calls of the vendors, the rustle of footsteps in the halls below. The city, your prison, is always awake, always moving, and you are tethered to it. The first light of morning breaks through the cracks in the stone, and with it, the harsh reality of another day. The roosters crow, piercing and sharp, and signals the end of whatever peace you tried to hold on to. You rise, the fatigue already wrapping around you like a familiar cloak. Your body aches, but it's nothing new. The weariness is constant now, a part of you. The coldness of the stone floor greets you as you step out of bed. The room's chill biting at your skin. You stretch, but it's a futile attempt to release the tension lodged deep in your bones. There is no time for lingering, no time for hesitation. The chamber pot waits, the water basin cold and unforgiving. You perform the motions without thinking, your body on autopilot, moving through the familiar routine like you've done thousands of times before. The smell, the weight, the feeling of the aikikyo, it's all so ingrained, so ordinary. And yet, today feels heavier, as if the cycle is closing in tighter. Outside, the city begins to stir. The sounds of life, yelling, shouting, the clattering of carts fill the air. But you move through it, absorbed by the rhythm. The streets are already alive, buzzing with the noise of 1,000 people, all on their own journeys, all trapped in their own cycles. You push through the crowd, no one noticing you, no one seeing you as anything but another face in the masses. You are a part of it all. But at the same time, you are invisible. No one cares. The city doesn't care. It just moves, and you move with it. The worksite looms ahead. The foreman is already there, his eyes scanning the workers, already barking orders. His voice is harsh, demanding, just like the city itself. You pick up your tools without a word or without a thought. The day begins again. The stone, the mortar, the sweat. The rhythm is unchanging, unyielding. Every swing of the hammer, every turn of the trowel is a step closer to the end of the day. But there is no satisfaction, no relief, just more work, more pain, more labour. The heat of the sun bears down on you. Its unforgiving warmth making each movement feel like an effort, like a battle. Your skin burns, your muscles scream, but you don't stop, you can't. The foreman's eyes are always on you, always watching. And in this city, if you stop, you might as well disappear. No one waits for anyone here, no one offers mercy. Lunchtime comes, but it's not a reprieve. The bread is stale, the wine watered down, it fills the hunger, but it does nothing for your soul. You chew mechanically, your mind already moving on to the next task, the next stretch of time that will drag on until the sun sets. The worksite hums with the same energy, the same weariness. The people around you are just like you. Their faces etched with the same exhaustion, the same resignation, the same relentless rhythm. You finish the bread, drink the wine, and return to your work. The afternoon stretching out before you like an endless expanse. The heat presses in, the sweat clinging to your skin, but it doesn't matter. The work must go on. Your hands move automatically, but your mind is far away, drifting somewhere between the ache of your body and the deep exhaustion that weighs on you. You can feel it in every step, in every motion. The grind is wearing you down, but you have no choice but to keep moving. The sun finally dips below the horizon, casting long shadows across the worksite, but the relief that comes with the end of the day is fleeting. The cycle doesn't stop. Tomorrow will be the same labour, the same grind, the same unending push. You can't escape it. You can't even imagine a world where it's different. The exhaustion of the day settles into your bones, and yet you know that tomorrow you'll rise again. You'll rise because there's no choice. You'll rise because you're part of the machine, and the machine never stops. You make your way back to the insula, your legs heavy with the weight of the day. The streets are quieter now, but the noise still lingers, hanging in the air like a constant buzz. You climb the stairs, each step a reminder of the hours you've already spent, of the hours that will come again tomorrow. Inside, the air is cooler, but it offers little comfort. You lie down on the straw mattress, your body aching, your mind spinning with the same thoughts, the same rhythm, the same grind. Tomorrow. Sleep finally comes, but it's never peaceful. You know what awaits you when the rooster crows again. You know what the day will bring, the stone, the mortar, the sweat, the cycle, the grind. You've been here before, and you'll be here again. The city doesn't care, just moves, and you move with it. The hours pass slowly, the world outside fading into a dull, half-conscious blur. Sleep isn't rest here, it's just a pause. A brief moment before the cycle starts again. The sounds of the city, even muffled behind the thick walls, seem to never quite stop. The far-off murmurs, the sounds of carts rattling along cobbled streets, the distant voices of merchants haggling, all blend together like a constant, low hum. It's the soundtrack of the city that never sleeps. You fall in and out of it, the exhaustion pulling you under just long enough to escape the weight of your thoughts. Then, just like every other day, the sharp crow of the rooster slices through your fragile rest. Your eyes open slowly, the world still hazy, but reality creeps in, cruelly familiar. You lie there for a moment, letting the darkness of the room swallow you. Before the inevitability settles in, the day is already beginning, and you'll have no choice but to face it. A heavy sigh escapes your lips as you push yourself up. The ache in your bones is immediate, the exhaustion that always follows the day's work hitting you harder now than ever before. The stone floor is cold beneath your bare feet as you stumble across the room, the familiar motions setting in. The chamber pot waits in its usual place. You empty it without thinking, the smell creeping up as it always does. It's a part of the routine now, something you do without question. The chill in the air feels colder today. The water from the basin is ice against your skin, a shock to your senses, but you don't have the luxury of savouring it. You scrub your face quickly, your eyes still heavy with the weight of last night's restless sleep. The city outside is already coming to life, but you know that by the time the sun is fully up, the streets will be a madhouse, louder, more frantic, filled with the usual chaos that you've grown to know all too well. You can hear the vendors shouting from below, their voices cutting through the walls, each one calling out their wares, selling their goods, promising whatever they can to those who have the coin to pay. But you don't stop to listen. You know where you need to go. The same place you've always gone, the work site. It doesn't matter that your body is exhausted, that your hands ache from the stone and mortar, that your mind feels like it might break under the pressure. The world doesn't stop for you. The work doesn't stop for you. So you drag yourself out of the insula, stepping out into the street with the weight of another day pressing down on you. The sun is low, barely starting to rise, but the city is already buzzing. The streets are crowded, the air thick with the smells of the market, fresh bread, sizzling meat, and the faint, ever-present scent of sweat. The roads are narrow, winding, filled with people hustling to get from one place to another. The noise is constant, a never-ending hum that you've learned to ignore. There's no room for hesitation, no room for distraction. You move with the crowd, just another face, just another body in the mass. No one notices you, and you prefer it that way. The work site is waiting, the foreman is already there, his sharp eyes scanning the workers as they begin to assemble. You know what to expect, the same routine, the same unyielding demands. It's all you've ever known. The stone, the mortar, the labour. It never changes. You're part of it now, you're not a person, you're a tool. Just another cog in the machine that keeps this city running. And you'll keep working because there's no choice. No choice but to keep moving, to keep building, to keep pushing through the exhaustion and the pain. The foreman doesn't even acknowledge you when you arrive. There's no greeting. There's only work. The orders come fast and sharp and you don't need to hear them. You know what's expected. You know what you must do. The stone must be moved, the mortar must be mixed, the labour must continue. The sun climbs higher in the sky and the heat becomes unbearable. Sweat drips down your face, your clothes sticking to your skin, but you don't stop. You can't. There is no rest, no reprieve. The work goes on, relentless and unyielding. You lift the stone, you lay the mortar, you move from one task to the next, your body responding automatically. It's the only way you know how to survive. The lunch break comes, but there's no relief. The bread is stale, the wine watered down, the taste barely registering on your tongue. You eat quickly, not even savouring the small amount of sustenance. Your mind already shifting back to the work. You know it's not over, the day isn't over, the grind continues. You finish the bread, drink the wine, and return to the work. The afternoon stretches on, each hour more exhausting than the last. Your body is worn, your hands are raw, but it doesn't matter. You keep going, there is no other option. Finally, the sun begins to set, casting long shadows across the worksite. The foreman calls for the end of the day. But you know this relief is only temporary. Tomorrow will be the same. The stone, the mortar, the sweat, the grind, it never stops. And neither will you. The journey back to the insula is long and tiring. The streets are quieter now, the bustle of the day fading into the background. You climb the stairs back to your room, each step heavy with the weight of the day's labour. Your body aches, but it doesn't matter. You'll sleep, and tomorrow you'll do it all again. You lie down, your body collapsing into the mattress, but the exhaustion doesn't bring peace. Your mind races with thoughts of tomorrow, of the cycle that will start once more when the rooster crows, the work, the demands, the grind, it never ends. And tomorrow, you will rise because there is no choice. The darkness of the room wraps around you like a familiar shroud, but even in the quiet, the city's hum persists, a low murmur beneath the surface of your thoughts. Sleep teases you, just out of reach, as the weight of another day settles on your chest. The exhaustion is all-encompassing, but even as your body cries for rest, your mind refuses to surrender. It knows what awaits you when the first light of dawn breaks through the cracks of your room. The rooster's crow slices through the silence like a knife, and you stir, pulling yourself from the shallow sleep that never quite delivers peace. You lie there for a moment, the stillness of the night slowly evaporating, only to be replaced by the cold, hard reality of the new day. The ache in your body is familiar, unyielding. The exhaustion, the constant weight of the labour you carry, feels like a part of your very bones now. And so you rise, just as you always do, the same rituals, the same motions, the same relentless cycle. The city will demand its toll from you once again, but you will meet it. You will move with it, through the streets, through the noise, through the suffocating demands that never cease. And when the day ends, you will return to your room, your body exhausted, your soul drained, but you will rise again, because there is no other choice. Tomorrow will come, the stone, the mortar, the sweat, and you will answer, just as you always have. The grind continues, and so you keep moving,